Believing in yourself is one of the most powerful choices you can ever make in life. Self-belief is not just about confidence or optimism. It is the deep conviction that you are capable of handling whatever challenges come your way. It is the quiet but firm voice inside that says, "I can do this," even when everything around you suggests otherwise. Without self-belief, talent remains untapped, opportunities are missed, and potential fades away. With it, however, ordinary individuals accomplish extraordinary things. History and everyday life are filled with examples of people who had little to start with, but achieved greatness simply because they trusted their own ability to learn, grow, and persevere. The truth is, no one is born with unshakable self-belief. It is something we build over time through experiences, reflection, and persistence. Often, the first step comes from daring to take action, even when we are unsure of the outcome. Many people wait until they feel completely ready before starting, but the reality is that we rarely feel fully prepared. The act of moving forward, despite doubts, is what strengthens belief in oneself. Every small victory adds a layer of confidence, and even failures contribute by teaching valuable lessons that shape resilience. Self-belief grows not in the absence of fear, but in the willingness to act in spite of it. One of the greatest barriers to self-belief is comparison. In a world where we are constantly exposed to the achievements of others, it is easy to measure our worth against people who appear more talented, successful, or fortunate. This mindset erodes confidence and convinces us that we are not enough. Yet, true self-belief comes from understanding that your journey is unique and your value is not defined by anyone else's progress. When you stop comparing and start focusing on your own path, you allow yourself to see the progress you have already made and the potential that still lies within you. Everyone has a unique contribution to make, and believing in yourself is the key to unlocking it. Self-belief also requires persistence in the face of criticism and doubt. There will always be voices, sometimes external, sometimes internal, that say you cannot achieve what you dream of. If you allow those voices to dictate your actions, you will remain stuck where you are. But when you cultivate the discipline to silence negativity and replace it with determination, you shift the direction of your life. Many of the world's greatest innovators, leaders, and creators were told countless times that their ideas would not work. What set them apart was not perfection or luck, but the decision to keep moving forward because they believed in their vision. Furthermore, self-belief does not mean ignoring your flaws or pretending to be invincible. It means acknowledging your weaknesses while still trusting your ability to improve. It is the courage to say, "I may not know everything, but I am capable of learning." This growth-oriented mindset is what transforms challenges into opportunities. Life will always bring difficulties, but people who believe in themselves see obstacles as temporary roadblocks rather than permanent barriers. They understand that with effort, patience, and persistence, they can overcome them. Ultimately, self-belief is the foundation of all other success principles. You can have all the resources, skills, and opportunities in the world, but if you do not trust yourself enough to use them, they are wasted. Believing in yourself empowers you to take risks, step outside your comfort zone, and pursue goals that may seem impossible at first. It is what gives you the strength to stand tall when others doubt you, and the resilience to keep going when life tests you. In the end, no lesson in life is more essential than this. The world will only believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. And once you embrace that truth, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Time is the most valuable resource we are ever given, yet it is the one most often taken for granted. Unlike money, possessions, or opportunities, time can never be regained once it is lost. Every second that passes is gone forever, and no amount of wealth or power can buy it back. This is why learning to treat time as our greatest currency is one of the most crucial life lessons we can embrace. How we choose to spend our hours, days, and years ultimately defines the quality of our lives. People often talk about wanting success, happiness, or fulfillment, but what they are really describing is the outcome of how they invested their time. The challenge most people face is not that they lack time, but that they misuse it. Every one of us is given the same 24 hours in a day, yet some achieve extraordinary results while others remain stuck in cycles of procrastination, distraction, or regret. The difference lies in priorities. When you fail to set clear priorities, you end up spending your time reacting to the demands of others, drifting through days without intention, and wondering why nothing seems to change. But when you decide what truly matters and align your schedule with those values, time begins to work for you instead of against you. Success in any area of life is less about working harder and more about working with focus, directing energy toward the things that bring long-term meaning and progress. One of the traps people fall into is believing they will have more time later. They postpone dreams, conversations, and goals, assuming that tomorrow or next year will be more convenient. Yet tomorrow is never guaranteed. Many individuals reach the later stages of life only to realize they spent decades chasing things that didn't matter while neglecting the moments and relationships that did. The truth is that urgency is not about rushing. It is about recognizing the finite nature of time and treating it with respect. Living with intention means asking yourself daily, is this how I want to spend the limited hours I have? This perspective shifts your actions, helping you focus on what will truly matter years from now. Another important aspect of mastering time is learning to say no. Every yes you give to something insignificant is a no to something meaningful. It is easy to fill your calendar with activities, obligations, or entertainment, but none of those things will bring fulfillment if they distract you from your real priorities. Protecting your time is not selfish, it is essential. By setting boundaries and choosing carefully where your hours go, you gain the freedom to invest in your growth, relationships, and passions. Even small daily choices, such as limiting time spent on distractions or dedicating consistent moments to personal goals, compound into powerful results over the years. Equally important is remembering that time is not just about productivity. It is also about presence. Many people focus so much on achieving the next milestone that they miss the beauty of the current moment. Success is not just about what you accomplish. It is about how fully you live while pursuing it. Valuing time means appreciating both the quiet and the significant, the ordinary days as well as the remarkable ones. It means being present with loved ones, giving attention to the conversations that matter, and creating memories that will outlast the years. In the end, those who master time master life. They understand that every day is a gift, and that each hour is an investment toward the kind of person they want to become and the legacy they want to leave. If you learn to treat time as your greatest currency, you will stop wasting it on what drains you and start channeling it into what fulfills you. And when you do, you discover the truth. Wealth is not measured in possessions, but in the way you spend your moments. Failure is one of the most misunderstood experiences in life. Most people are taught to avoid it at all costs, to fear it as a sign of weakness, incompetence, or defeat. Yet in reality, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a fundamental part of it. Every great accomplishment throughout history has been built on a foundation of mistakes, setbacks, and lessons learned through trial and error. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not that one group avoids failure while the other does not. It is that successful people understand failure as a teacher, not an enemy. When you experience failure, you are presented with an opportunity to grow in ways that success alone cannot provide. Success often feels comfortable, but it rarely pushes you to examine yourself deeply. Failure, on the other hand, forces reflection. It reveals weaknesses in your approach, exposes blind spots, and challenges your determination. While it may be painful in the moment, failure equips you with wisdom, resilience, and humility. It teaches you what doesn't work so you can move closer to what does. In this way, every setback becomes a stepping stone if you choose to see it as part of the journey instead of the end of the road. The problem is that many people allow failure to define their identity rather than inform their progress. They internalize mistakes as proof that they are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough, and this mindset keeps them stuck. But failure is never final unless you quit. It is not a reflection of your worth, but simply feedback about your efforts. When Thomas Edison was asked about the thousands of failed attempts before inventing the light bulb, he famously responded that he had not failed, but rather discovered thousands of ways that did not work. His perspective highlights the truth. Failure is not wasted effort, but necessary research on the path to achievement. Another reason people fear failure is the judgment of others. Society often celebrates visible success while ignoring the years of struggle behind it. This creates the illusion that great accomplishments happen effortlessly, leading individuals to feel ashamed when their own attempts do not go smoothly. But the reality is that behind every athlete, entrepreneur, or leader who seems to have made it, there are countless failures hidden from view. The willingness to persist through repeated setbacks is what separates them from those who stop after the first stumble. If you learn to detach from the fear of external judgment, you free yourself to experiment, to risk, and to ultimately grow. Failure also teaches resilience, a trait that no amount of comfort or ease can provide. Each time you fall and get back up, you strengthen your mental toughness. Resilience is like a muscle. It only grows when tested. Life will inevitably bring challenges, but if you learn to embrace failure as a temporary obstacle rather than a permanent defeat, you build the inner strength to handle whatever comes your way. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, you develop the courage to take bold steps, knowing that even if you fall, you will rise stronger. Ultimately, failure is not something to run from, but something to embrace with the right mindset. It is the mirror that shows you where to improve, the coach that pushes you beyond comfort, and the teacher that prepares you for greater victories ahead. Every setback carries within it the seed of a future success, but only if you choose to learn from it instead of letting it discourage you. The real tragedy is not in failing, but in refusing to try because of the fear of failure. When you understand that mistakes are part of progress, you liberate yourself from hesitation and unlock your true potential. Success, in the end, is not the absence of failure, but the persistence to rise every time you fall. The relationships we build throughout our lives shape us more than we often realize. From the earliest days of childhood to the final years of life, the people we surround ourselves with influence our thoughts, emotions, decisions, and even the trajectory of our future. No one achieves greatness alone, and no one walks through life untouched by the impact of others. This is why understanding that relationships define your journey is one of the most important lessons you can never afford to ignore. Who you choose to walk with determines how far you will go, and in many cases, whether you will get there at all. The truth is that relationships either lift you higher or pull you down, Positive, supportive people encourage your growth, inspire your dreams, and challenge you to become your best self. They remind you of your potential when you forget it and stand by you when the path gets difficult. On the other hand, toxic or negative relationships drain your energy, cloud your judgment, and keep you stuck in cycles of doubt and mediocrity. Many people underestimate just how powerful influence can be. The saying, "Show me your friends and I will show you your future," is not just a cliche but a reality. The attitudes, habits, and values of the people closest to you often become your own without you even realizing it. Healthy relationships are not about quantity but quality. In a world obsessed with popularity, following, and social circles, it is tempting to measure your worth by how many people you know. Yet what truly matters is the depth of the connection. A few genuine, loyal, supportive relationships shallow. These are the people who seem to really are. Celebrate stand beside you during struggle without judgment. They are not perfect, but their presence adds strength, stability, and joy to your life. Building meaningful relationships also requires effort and intentionality. Too often, people expect friendships or partnerships to thrive without investing in them. Just like any valuable asset, relationships need time, care, and attention. Listening deeply, communicating honestly, and showing appreciation are simple but powerful ways to strengthen connections. It is also about reciprocity. Relationships are healthiest when they are balanced, when both people give and receive, support and are supported. When you nurture relationships with kindness and respect, you create bonds that can weather the storms of life. Equally important is learning when to let go. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and holding on to people who continually bring negativity or harm can hinder your growth. Letting go does not mean hatred or bitterness. It means recognizing that not everyone is meant to walk your entire journey with you. Sometimes people are in your life for a season, and when that season ends, you must have the courage to move forward without them. Protecting your peace and prioritizing your well-being is not selfish. It is necessary for growth. Ultimately, life is not just about what you accomplish, but also about who you share it with. Success feels empty if it is celebrated alone, and hardships feel unbearable if faced without support. Relationships bring meaning, joy, and perspective to the human experience. The laughter of friends, the encouragement of mentors, the unconditional love of family, these are the treasures that give life richness beyond material wealth. When you choose your relationships wisely, nurture them faithfully, and let go of those that hold you back, you set yourself on a path toward a more fulfilling journey. At the end of life, people rarely regret not working more hours or buying more possessions. Instead, they regret not spending enough time with the people who mattered most. Your relationships will define your journey, so make sure they lead you toward the life you truly desire. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful lessons you can ever embrace in life. It is the practice of shifting your focus from what you lack to what you already have, from what is missing to what is present. At first glance, gratitude may seem like a soft or secondary value, something nice to practice but not essential. In truth, it is one of the strongest forces for happiness, resilience, and fulfillment. Gratitude has the power to transform how you see your life, how you interact with others, and how you face challenges. When you live with gratitude, you stop waiting for the perfect circumstances to be happy. You realize that joy is possible right here, right now, no matter your situation. The reason gratitude is so powerful is that it rewires your perspective. Human beings are naturally inclined to focus on problems, shortcomings, and what is lacking. This mindset can trap you in constant dissatisfaction, always chasing the next achievement, the next possession, or the next milestone in hopes of finally feeling fulfilled. But the truth is, without gratitude, even your greatest successes will feel empty. There will always be something more to chase, and happiness will remain just out of reach. Gratitude breaks this cycle by reminding you that you already have blessings worth appreciating. It could be your health, your loved ones, your opportunities, or even the simple gift of another day. When you choose gratitude, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you consistently acknowledge and appreciate the people in your life, you not only make them feel valued, but also deepen the bond you share. Simple words of thanks, a note of appreciation, or even a moment of recognition can transform an ordinary interaction into a lasting memory. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel seen and appreciated. Gratitude has a multiplying effect. When you express it, others are more likely to return it, creating a cycle of positivity and connection. In this way, gratitude is not only good for your personal well-being, but also for the strength and quality of your relationships. Perhaps most importantly, gratitude is what carries you through the darkest times. Life is not always smooth, and challenges are inevitable. Yet even in hardship, there are reasons to be thankful. Gratitude in difficult moments does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it is the ability to find meaning, lessons, or small blessings even in struggle. For example, a setback may teach resilience, a failure may reveal a new path, or a loss may deepen your appreciation for what remains. Gratitude does not erase challenges, but it gives you the strength to endure them with hope and perspective. Living with gratitude is a choice, and like any choice, it must be practiced daily. It can be as simple as starting each morning by reflecting on 3 things you are thankful for, or ending each day by acknowledging what went right instead of what went wrong. Over time, this practice reshapes your mindset, training your brain to focus more on blessings than problems. Gratitude also encourages contentment, not complacency, but the peace of knowing that while you may still strive for more, you are already enough and already blessed. At the end of the day, gratitude changes everything because it changes how you see everything. It transforms ordinary days into celebrations, challenges into opportunities, and relationships into treasures. It reminds you that happiness is not something to be chased in the future, but something to be embraced in the present. When you live with gratitude, you stop measuring your life by what you lack and start appreciating it for the abundance it already holds. And that shift alone is enough to create a richer, more meaningful, and more joyful life. Growth is never born out of comfort. It always emerges from moments of challenge, struggle, and discomfort. While most people desire progress and improvement, very few are willing to embrace the uneasy process that makes it possible. Human nature tends to crave stability, familiarity, and safety. We want to succeed, but we also want to avoid risk, rejection, or pain. The truth, however, is that real transformation cannot occur without stepping outside of what feels easy or predictable. Growth demands discomfort, and until you accept this truth, you will always remain stuck at the same level, repeating the same patterns. Consider the way muscles grow in the human body. When you exercise, especially through resistance training, the muscles are stretched, strained, and even torn on a microscopic level. It is precisely this discomfort that allows them to rebuild stronger than before. The same principle applies to personal development, career success, and emotional resilience. Without the stretching and resistance of life's challenges, there is no real growth. Discomfort is not something to fear, but something to welcome as evidence that you are moving beyond your old limits. One of the most common ways discomfort shows up is through fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown can feel overwhelming. Yet fear is often a signal that you are stepping into new territory, a place where growth is possible. If everything feels safe and certain, it usually means you are staying within your comfort zone, where little progress happens. By leaning into discomfort instead of avoiding it, you give yourself permission to explore new opportunities, learn new skills, and build greater confidence. Each time you face fear and act anyway, you expand what is possible for you. Discomfort also teaches resilience. When life pushes you into situations that test your patience, endurance, or determination, you develop inner strength that cannot be learned from books or theories. Struggles such as career setbacks, personal losses, or unexpected challenges may feel unbearable in the moment, but they shape character and maturity. People who have endured hardships often emerge wiser, stronger, and more empathetic because of what they endured. Without discomfort, resilience would remain undeveloped, and resilience is one of the most essential traits for long-term success and happiness. Another important aspect of growth through discomfort is learning to let go of old versions of yourself. Growth often requires change, new habits, new environments, and sometimes even new relationships. This process is rarely easy because it forces you to release what once felt safe. However, clinging to the old prevents you from stepping into the new. Think of a butterfly. The caterpillar must undergo the discomfort of the cocoon before it can emerge transformed. The cocoon is confining, even painful, but it is also the place where growth takes place. Likewise, your seasons of discomfort are the cocoon moments of life, shaping you for greater things ahead. Ultimately, embracing discomfort is a decision to choose growth over stagnation. It does not mean recklessly seeking pain, but rather understanding that challenges, risks, and struggles are necessary parts of the journey. Every breakthrough you will ever experience lies just beyond your comfort zone. If you run from discomfort, you run from growth. But if you lean into it, you position yourself for transformation. In the end, the moments that stretch you the most are the ones that define who you become. Comfort may feel safe in the short term, but discomfort is the soil in which your true potential takes root and flourishes.